Hey guys, welcome back to Rendezvous with the Ramey family, and today we're going to do a walkthrough of one of my all-time favorite boats, the Pacific Seacraft 40. So, the Pacific Seacraft 40 is a Bill Krelock design, and it is the evolution of the 31, the 34, the 37, and his 44-foot designs. So, it really is the culmination of a lot of years of experience designing boats, but it's also the culmination of a lot of years at sea. So, there are things about the interior and exterior of this boat that just are meant specifically for deep sea, offshore, blue water passage making, and being able to do that full time safely. So you can't type in any of those keywords or look very far for anything that is remotely considered blue water boats without running into a Pacific Seacraft 40. So let's get into it. This is a 1998 Pacific Seacraft 40, and this one in particular has one single berth, three double berths, and two cabins with one head. That means it can sleep 7 people comfortably. The length overall is 42 feet 2 inches. The length on the deck is 39 feet 11 inches. The length at the waterline is 31 feet 3 inches. It's got a 12 foot 6 inch beam and a draft of 6 feet 1 inches. Its ballast weight is 8,600 pounds and it has a displacement of 24,000 pounds. It has a fuel tank of 67 gallons, freshwater tank 122 gallons, and a holding tank of 40 gallons. The Pacific Seacraft's highly successful underbody design has a long chord fin with external lead ballast that also acts as a grounding shoe and a heavily constructed full skeg to protect the rudder. The design is unique because the prop is an aperture within the skeg, so there's no exposed shaft or strut left vulnerable to logs or shipping containers or whatever else might strike the bottom of your boat at sea. The forefoot is moderately deep, so the 40s sail comfortably to weather without pounding. The 40's powerful performance on and off wind consistently produces average speeds of 7 to 8 knots plus, which equates to increased daily mileage for even faster passage making. The shrouds are located well inboard for tight sheeting angles and close winded ability. The double spreader cutter rig is well suited for offshore work and balances readily even as the anemometer climbs upward. Another reason why I like this foredeck is it's really well thought out. I mean, the bulwark is 5 inches tall and makes moving forward and aft while underway safe and easy. It also drains water really quickly, and the cockpit is self-bailing and it has pad eyes for you to lock yourself in at different points. This is all about safety. I really appreciate that. You'll also notice how tall the stanchions are compared to other boats of its class, and you'll notice that the stanchions are mounted on chain plates that are attached to the bulwarks and not the deck itself. So that is just experience at sea and fixing the damage that's done when you lean against the lifelines or the stanchions. It actually puts a little weight and wiggles loose at the chain plate. So now when it wiggles loose, it'll wiggle loose on the bulwark and not the deck itself, which will cause leaks. So that's just years of experience in the little details, and that's all Bill Krelock right there. The cockpit is deep and purpose-driven. I really appreciate spending time in the cockpit, especially the first few days when you're underway, because honestly, you haven't got your sea legs yet, and the first couple of days is when everyone's pretty seasick. They don't want to be down below deck. Now, the Pacific Seacraft 40, it takes a little bit of comfort away from the cockpit and puts a little bit more focus on safety. So you can lounge in the cockpit in here. It's not nearly as comfortable as some other types of boats that I would consider more coastal cruisers, or some people would even use the derogatory term for like dock queen, where they have a nice boat but they don't take it anywhere. It's really just a house. Those kind of cockpits are very comfortable. The Pacific Seacraft cockpit is not as comfortable, but it is way more safe. It feels safe. It feels sturdy. It feels like you're really in there and you're not going to get sloshed around as much as these other ones. Lots of things to throw a hip into and hold yourself steady. So it's really just a purpose-driven cockpit. Stand there, man your helm, man your post, stand your watch, and if need be, you can even shower yourself off. But other than that, most of the space went from living ability, and they took a little bit of that space out of the cockpit. So moving down the companionway stairs to go to the inside of the boat, the interior in summary, basically has 2 separate staterooms, an enclosed head with separate shower stall, a large salon, gourmet galley, and a large navigation station with electronics mounting panels forward and outboard. So we'll do this one individually. As you come down the companionway stairs and look to the port side, you're going to see a head and separate shower. So opposite of the aft cabin, at base of the companionway, it's equipped with a manual head and a stainless steel sink. It's got a full wet locker aft and both drawer and cabinet storage below sink and counter cabinets with a sliding door above it. So the separate shower stall with a clean door forward of the head, slated teak settee, and a teak floor grate. It's one of the nicer heads that I've seen on a boat, and I really appreciate. Basically, it's a wet locker right behind the head. That's another Krelock thing that comes from lots of time at sea. Now, the reason why he put it right next to the companionway stairs is you can come down after you've been completely soaked, by a squall or saltwater spray or whatever, and you can just hang your oilskins, you can hang your wet weather gear behind the head without trekking it while dripping wet all the way through the boat, and I really appreciate that. I also really like the size of the shower, and the fact that I'm 6'2" and I can sit down in the shower while underway, because it's really the only way you want to shower while you're underway is in the sitting position, just for safety. I can sit down in there and be comfortable, and that's important to me, because if I'm going to be living on board, I don't want to be hunched over all day. So as you're standing at the bottom of the companionway stairs and you look to the starboard side of the vessel, you're going to see the galley. So the galley is a G-shaped galley. It's got 2 centerline stainless steel sinks and a top-loading dual-purpose, dual-access refrigerator freezer. So it's got a 3-burner stove oven broiler combination by Force 10, and pretty generous counter area for food prep. Lots of pantry and storage and cabinets, and lots of storage for cookware as well. So it's a pretty nice galley. So let's move on to the nav station. This is a forward-facing, port-placed nav station. What that means is it's facing forward, not backwards, and not outward, like on a lot of boats. So it's actually facing forward. It's facing the direction that the boat is actually traveling in, and it's port-placed, which means it's on the port side of the boat. So it's just forward of the aft head, and it's on the other side of the galley. Okay, so the nav station has bookshelves, a charting table with a hinge top, storage space below, and it's built-in forward cabinets for electronics. The storage space below the settee and easy access to electric panels and battery switches make it a really well thought out nav station. So as we come into the main salon, it's a starboard placed dinette with a drop leaf table that seats 6 and converts to a double berth. So that's why there's 2 cabins and 1 head on the listing on this boat, but it'll actually berth 7 people because the dinette doubles as a bed, as it does in most other boats. So as we move to the forward part of the boat, we're going to get to the V-Berth, and this is basically the owner's cabin, or the main cabin, however you want to refer to it. This would be the most comfortable berth in the boat, but the one thing I don't like is when you're underway, the V-Berth is probably the last room you want to be sleeping in. Everyone usually ends up sleeping towards the middle, bottom of the boat, like in the dinette, basically. But while you're docked or in the slip, this V-Berth is great. So it's configured with the cabinet and drawer storage below the berth. It's got port and starboard hanging lockers and cabinets below them, an elevated forward cabinet with access to the chain locker, and port and starboard full-length shelves above the berth. lastly, we're going to check out the aft cabin. So this is a starboard side aft cabin, which means it's on the starboard side of the companionway once you come downstairs. And it's fully enclosed, which means the door can be closed. So it has a large hanging locker with a shelf above it. It's a two-person berth, and it has additional storage below, and it has a mirror on the forward part of the bulkhead. So it also has access to the engine compartment. I hope you guys enjoyed the walk through the Pacific Seacraft 40. There are only 63 of these boats on the planet as we speak. Now, they're still making them. The factory will make you a new one if you want one. The last time someone ordered a new one was in 2009. So once the owners have them, they keep them for decades. They are that strong. They're that good of a boat. So the one thing that I also want to mention before we get off of here is I'm 6'3" and I had headroom for days below deck, and that is such a big deal to me. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's going to be lots more walkthrough videos coming up in the future because we're on the market for our live aboard blue water boat.